One player who won't be playing in round 2 is Jack Stephen. And Ed, you've copped it this week.
I have.
For your comments on radio. There he is at Geelong training today, I think, Sam. You made the comment that Chris Scott, in his press conference, should have been more forthright about Jack Stephen. You were
Not quite. Can I just correct this?
You said, Scotty, just tell us what really happened.
No, what I said was this. Don't have a press conference.
Yep.
And then if you bring it up, then you open the questions.
Geelong would argue they were having a press conference anyway.
Well,
they covered what they wanted to cover, as Nathan Buckley did after Dane Beams's car situation, that he wasn't prepared to go into any detail about. And as the media respected Ed. Yeah. Now, why should Chris Scott be any different in this situation if there is a mental health issue at stake?
This is what happens when people, and I'm not trying to pick a fight here, when people read the headlines on a clickbait internet story. Okay,
Get over your clickbait.
No, but it is, Caro, because that's...
No, you said, Scotty, tell us what happened. Did you not say that?
I did, but here's what I said before that, which is the key part. I said, don't get up and scold the media for speculating and then say, you're speculating and I think your speculation's wrong. All that does is invite more speculation. I would have thought that Geelong could have called a press conference, said before they called the press conference, we're not going to answer any questions about Stevens, and everyone would have respected that. They could ask a question. He says, I'm not going to do it. Put out a statement in regards to that, which is what they did. I said about Lockie Hunter the other week. Put a statement out if you're going to do those things.
I absolutely agree.
If it was a doorstop, then he can quite rightly say, get out of the way, I'm not doing it. But when you have a media conference, you're inviting the world in to ask, and the representatives of the journos, whose job, allegedly, is to ask the questions. So did Nathan Buckley,
have you said to the media, don't ask us about Dane Beams? Because there's a mental health issue at stake. Why won't you tell us what's happening with Dane Beams?
Well, What do you want to know about Dane Beams?
Is he going to come back to Collingwood?
Well, I hope he does, but I think at the moment Dane Beams is away from the club and he's getting his life together. He's doing great things in the art world, and that's where it is. He hasn't trained at the club all year.
But this is a major issue for Collingwood. It could become a major issue in terms of your salary cap.
I think last week's story was one that was a little bit more pressing than what Dane Beams is doing.
But he was involved in an incident in a car and we never knew what happened. And I think people respected the fact that there could have been something here that it was not fair to be revealing to the media.
But, Caro, again, please listen to me.
No,
my point was nothing about Geelong.
I agree that it is wrong to say to the media, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, and then not say what's right.
So he didn't know what the answers were.
Victoria
Police didn't know.
No, but let me put this to you, OK? Scotty got up and said, you're surmising something or your assumptions are this, and he threw it open. Once you actually open it up in a press conference, then it's open season to ask the questions. He was lucky that no one did. The point I was saying was don't bring it up. And if you are going to bring it up and then open the conjecture, then you probably need to actually give some answers. My position was they shouldn't have had the press conference and they shouldn't have had anything to do with it. And I'll tell you what they shouldn't have done the other day. They shouldn't have had Jack Stevens walk past the media, who didn't ask a question anyway. But
Ed, what do you say to those? What did you expect them to ask? I mean, the guy has just been through a huge ordeal where he could have potentially lost his life. I understand that you and Caro did this for a living, for decades, but the media relations game has changed since then. If Geelong don't want us to ask him about something that's personal...
Who do you work for, Geelong? It's your job to go and get the truth as a journo. Now, I see from both sides.
Only to so far, Eddie.
How is it so far? The guy's going into training. And you say to him, Jack, can we ask you, what happened last week? He says, can't talk, because I'm talking to, in due course, go, thank you very much. How are you feeling about being back at training? I'm feeling great.
But they asked him that. They asked him that.
I refer you, Ed, to Footy Classified 5 weeks ago and your comments about Lockie Hunter.
In that situation for Lockie Hunter, stick with that. He has people who have not been on the front page of a paper under enormous attack, don't understand what it means to you and your family. His sisters were being doorstopped coming out of the house, all that sort of stuff. The media want him to do a press conference so they can browbeat him until he cries.
Now, isn't that sort of fairly similar to Jack Stephen? In fact, what Lockie Hunter did was actually, it was a crime, and he's going to have to pay a penalty for that. And you were saying that the media were going to browbeat him until he cries. So why would you be thinking the media should be attacking Jack Stephen? When Ross Lyon said last week he might just be a victim. We don't know.
Not attacking. Not at all. My point is exactly the same. I think I was talking about the Geelong press conference, and I said it as a media practitioner. I wouldn't have said...
So why
I
are we
wouldn't have
protecting
answered.
Lachie Hunter
What's that?
and not Jack Stephen?
But
Why
if-
are we protecting Lachie Hunter?
But if Lachie Hunter was walking into training, you can ask him a question. He stood there and asked the question. You just say, how are you feeling? What's going on? What happened last week?
So do you want
My point is,
do
it's
you
not
want
that-
Sam McClure to ask Jack Stephen, were you stabbed?
Mate, if Sam McClure walked into a newsroom any time since they invented the Caxton press and didn't ask the question, you'd be saying, son, see your car, get in it and drive and don't come back.
So the media,
That's his
1 minute
job.
are browbeating a player till he cries, and the next minute not even allowed
You
to
can't
ask.
have it both ways.
Yes, you
Eddie.
can.
No,
It's
you can't.
completely, it's exactly the same, Ed.
Mate, roll a videotape from the old days of what you had to do when you had to front up against someone.
Oh, you haven't gone back to the old plugger with the crutches,
you
surely.
Wasn't hiding under the bed then. You went to the hardest place. So you think that a journo's role these days, and I'm not, you just tell me, maybe things have changed, maybe I'm a dinosaur, but I can promise you, if that media conference had been played out in front of Mike Sheehan, Caroline Wilson, Trevor Grant, Peter McFarlane, Curly Carter, Rob Asprey, hopefully me, or Tony Jones or somebody else, somebody would have had a follow-up.
Yeah, that's fine, Eddie, but it's not those days anymore. And
what is it?
When you've been on the phone...
What is it? What do you sit
When you've
there
been on the
just
phone
sending out
to the
tweets?
AFL,
Boys,
and when you've been on the
I'm
phone
being
to
shouted at
Geelong.
here.
I'm sitting at
We
home.
have an
I'll tell
AFL
you what
president.
happens.
We have an AFL president waiting on the line.
You can't be part
Tony
of the
Cochran-
current media and then
hang on.
criticise
Tony
the
Cochran will
generation.
join
I
us
mean, I can do
right
whatever I
after the
like.
break
You
on
can
Footy
actually ask
Classified.
questions.